Alright, if you're watching this video, that means your house is probably getting a little bit cold. Before we get too far into the video, let me tell you what we're talking about today so that if you're finding different problems or you have a different scenario with your furnace, then you can go ahead and skip to the next video. We're working with a Lennox Elite, and it was manufactured probably in '04 or '05. It was installed late in the year of 2005. So this is a unit that has the Lennox Sure Light system, which has an automatic pilot light that comes on only when the thermostat says, "Hey, let's heat it up in here." So the scenario we're talking about today is that the pilot light will come on, the gas valve will allow gas to come through, the natural gas coming in from the street will allow that to come through. The pilot light will ignite that gas and they will fire into the fire chamber, but then almost immediately shut down and the gas or the flames will stop. To solve this, I'm looking at two different things. We're looking at the flame sensor today, and we're also looking at some condenser lines. Let me stop right now and tell you, I'm not an HVAC mechanic. Alright, I didn't go to school for these things, I'm not licensed. But everything I'm going to show you today, I got during countless hours of over-the-phone discussion with two different licensed HVAC, one for a small independent company doing work here in my local community, and the other one actually a larger company who it was actually responsible for installing the unit when the house was built. In both cases, the service technicians gave me each of these solutions to try. It's pretty easy stuff if you're a little bit manual, able to take some things apart and put them back together again. So that's it. That's what we're looking at today's video. If that's not a scenario you're used to or you've seen, then go ahead and search for the next video. I'm going to go ahead and pop this front cabinet off, and then we'll look at what's inside. Alright, so I've gotten that front plate off. This is the guts of the machine. Let's start with looking at the flame sensor. The flame sensor is responsible for telling the gas valve, which is this unit right here, that in fact the flame has ignited and you're not just spewing a bunch of natural gas into the house. So the gas is released through that valve. It goes through to the pilot light, past the pilot light, it ignites, the flame comes out of the gas head, and then if the flame sensor doesn't pick up the change in temperature, doesn't recognize that this thing's getting beat up with flames, then it sends a message back to the gas valve, which shuts it down. So that's an obvious possibility with the scenario we're looking at. Alright, so the flame sensor we're going to find inside this little viewing window. Alright, the flame sensor we're looking at is right in front of the flame. It's that vertical stick, and you can see that it is right in the flame, and that's what sends a signal down to the gas valve, tell them that everything is fine. To get that sensor out, there's a 1/4 inch screw holding it in place from the bottom. When you're ready to put that flame sensor back in the unit, you may need to take off these 4 screws, remove the faceplate, and hold the flame sensor from the top so that you can put the screw in from the bottom. This may help hold it in place. Alright guys, I forgot to tell you when we were downstairs that if you do take that flame sensor out, which when you get that 1/4 inch bolt out, and it uses, usually it's a 1/4 inch hex nut, so that you could use a socket. Sometimes they have a slot in there for a screwdriver, but usually it's a socket. That whole stick, that whole flame sensor will drop out of that flame unit, flame housing, and you take that thing out, and then what you really want to do is use like a soft scrub sponge that's got water only on it, or maybe a rag, and you want to try to wipe away any ash or mineral deposits that are on there. You don't want to scuff it or scratch it or anything like that, because as it's sitting in the flame, you could really shorten the life of your flame sensor doing that as well. So just make sure you're careful with that, and you don't beat it up too much when you've got it out of the furnace. All right. Let's check out the next option, which is the condenser lines. Alright, so I've kind of panned back here so you can see the entire housing unit for the furnace. You got the blower on the bottom and the flue there in the middle, the white piping. On the top is the burner unit. So I'm going to zoom in here a little bit, and I want to look at these two condenser lines. They're black and red. This is on the left side of the blower. On the right side, they're also in there. These are square flexible hoses, and they attach to the condenser unit back there. And this is actually what the problem with my furnace shutting down was, and so this one might be helpful to you as well. This does not have anything to do with the flame sensor. It's a totally different issue. So if you've tried the flame sensor and you could not get the furnace to ignite and run consistently, then you might want to check this out. Apparently Lennox had a problem with this. The black unit back here is the condenser unit, and they had a problem with the port behind this hose clogging up with some ash or some mineral sediment or something to that effect. And so ultimately all you have to do is pull the hose off. You can see that it's just pressure fit on here. It's a plastic unit, and you could take a paper clip or a small diameter screwdriver or whatever you've got that you can kind of fit in there. It doesn't go very deep because it runs into the metal housing that's behind all the plastic here. And just kind of fish your screwdriver or whatever around in there to break free any of the sediment that's been built up. And in my case, I could put a flashlight up to that little port, and I could actually see a little bit of white ash. So you can do that with all four of these condenser lines. And again, anytime you're doing these things, pay special attention to which hose goes where. Because on the left side, the red hose goes on the bottom and the black one goes on the top. But on the right side, it's in reverse. I don't know if I can get a view. You can see it in there. Move my light. You can see that the red is on top and the black is on the bottom, which is the exact reverse. So make sure you make note of those things if you're going to work on some of these home management systems, because obviously if you put it in wrong, then you've just created more problems than you wanted. So those are the two tips that I have for you that should hopefully get your furnace back up and running. Good luck.